Welcome to the Spotlight on GL Budgeting using optional tables and Info-Explorer. My name's Anne from Orchid Systems. And in this video I'm going to run through using optional tables to store extra information in your Sage 300 database. And in this case we're going to store a budget associated with the GL account, and to use the Excel add-in to save us having to rekey or import the data from a specially formatted spreadsheet from Excel. And then we're going to use Info-Explorer to do top-down revisions and bottom-up revisions and update the Sage 300 company database. In the first scenario, we're going to create our 2023 Budget Set 1. Initially, we're going to use the GL Financial Reporter and create a departmental spreadsheet, one tab per department. And we're going to have 2 years actuals, so 2021 and 2022 actuals, and then we're going to calculate a projection for 2023. And we're going to send these spreadsheets to the departmental managers. After the departmental managers have updated their budget, we're going to use the Excel add-in from optional tables to upload the data from the updated Excel spreadsheets back into the optional tables datasets. And we're going to do this department by department. And after uploading the data, we're going to use Info-Explorer with Budget Writeback. We're going to open up a cube to view the consolidated budget across the 3 departments. And in Info-Explorer with the Writeback license, we can do top-down revisions or bottom-up adjustments or cell-by-cell adjustments, and then upload back to the Sage 300 company database, either back to the optional tables or back to the GL budget sets, depending which way we want to go. Initially, we're going to use the GL Financial Statement Designer to create us a workbook with all the different departments for 2021 and 2022 actual data. And the Financial Report Designer has been used to bring in 2021's actuals, 2022's actuals, and because we're only a third of the way through, you can see the figures are quite a lot less. And this has calculated a projection for 2023 based on our assumptions below on 2021's actuals. So a 10% increase in revenue, a 8% increase in cost of sales, and other expenses of 5% increase. And then we have taken this calculated projection and just divided by 12. And this is the spreadsheet we'll send off to the departmental managers for Department 200, for Department 100, and for those figures which are recorded without a department. And before distributing the spreadsheet, we'll hide up the columns which are the Excel add-in to update the Sage 300 company database with these figures. The departmental managers would then receive the workbook with the tabs that they're responsible for, and they could amend these figures, change the spread by month, change the projected value, and once they're happy, they would save the spreadsheet and send it back to the budget coordinator. Before we can upload those departmental budgets, in optional tables we need to create an InfoSet for that data to be uploaded into. So we've called the InfoSet forecast. It's associated with the GL account, and it's going to store the budget value. Having created the InfoSet code, you can now go and enter data against that InfoSet. So for our account 4000-1 sales, we can go and enter information. So for 2023 January, we could enter a sales budget of 10. So we could enter all the budget data. We can import from a specially formatted spreadsheet, but we can also use the Excel add-in to load the data from those spreadsheets we had prepared earlier. So starting up Excel with the optional tables add-in, we can see we've got an add-in which allows us to read information from Sage 300 into the spreadsheet and to write information from the spreadsheet back into Sage 300, and some wizards to help us with the formulas. With the add-in active in Excel, if we open up the template that the departmental managers have filled in, we can see we have formulas which will read and write this information from the spreadsheet back into Sage 300 or from Sage 300 back into the spreadsheet. So once we review the template, if we're happy with the departmental with no department code, we can select from the add-in menu to write this information from the spreadsheet back into Sage 300. And we can do this department by department. And if we go now and check that figure that we entered for 4000-1, you can see the January figure was updated as per the spreadsheet, as well as all the other information being entered, and similarly for other accounts too. What we have done so far is use the financial reporter to create ourselves a spreadsheet with 2021 and 2022's actual and a calculated projection for 2023. We then used the Excel add-in and we uploaded this information from the spreadsheet into our Sage 300 company database, department by department. We're now going to use Info-Explorer with Budget Writeback to view the consolidated budget, and we're going to use Info-Explorer with Writeback license to do top-down revisions and update the Sage 300 database with our newly updated figures. You can launch Info-Explorer from your Start taskbar or from your desktop, or you can add it to your Sage 300 desktop. And I'm going to open up my actual versus budget GL Cube. And when I click refresh and fill in the associated parameters that I want my fiscal year 2023 and the prior year, it updates actual and budget from Sage 300. So here we see our 2022 actuals, our budget that we had for 2022, and the budget that we've just uploaded for 2023. So we could look at this department by department, or we could drag down our division and department and see our information department by department. So here we're seeing our departments grouped up together. But if we drag division here, we will see the revenue for the 3 divisions and our budget for the 3 divisions, plus the cost of sales for the 3 divisions. And these are the figures that we've uploaded from our spreadsheet. If I want to review the 2023 budget in more detail, I could work on a view which is looking at just the 2023 budget and all the individual months. And I'm going to display my column totals as well, so I can see that column total. And at the moment, I'm seeing all the divisions, the sum of all the divisions. I could select to see an individual division here. So now I'm only seeing the null division. Or to make it more obvious, I could drag that division down there and I could see that I'm looking at the null division. If I wanted to, I could turn on all the divisions and I'd see them one grouped with all the accounts grouped one by one below. I'm just going to make my columns a little bit narrower so we can see the total. And if I wanted to adjust my budget month by month, account by account, division by division, for example, I could change this 550,000 to 600,000, but in order to do that, I need to create myself a work set. So once you create yourself a new work set, and you can rename it so you can keep track of what you're doing, I can just go ahead and change an individual number. And you can see that we're using conditional formatting for amended numbers. So the background is pink for those numbers that I've amended. So I can go ahead and change each of the sales accounts for the null division. Or if I wanted, I could change at a total level. But if I'm changing at a total level, I need to tell Info-Explorer how to spread that total back to the accounts that make it up, or in this case, the periods that make it up. So if I said proportionately, when I change this 6 million to 8 million, it's going to spread it proportionately based on what those individual months first made up of the original 6 million now to the 8 million. And I could change all my accounts, or indeed I could change the total down here, and it will change both my cost of sales and my revenue. So if I change this to 19 million, it's going to change all the cost of sales accounts and all the sales accounts proportionately what they made up of the original 18 million. And I'm currently just amending, I did amend both the null division. If I changed just that total, it would have only changed the null division, but I changed this total here, so it's amended both my commercial and my retail. So I just expand out my commercial and you can see all those numbers that it's changed. Now if I wanted somebody else to review this revision 1, I could save my cube and send them the cube, and they could see, as long as they had the Writeback license, they could see these amended figures as well. But if we're happy with this, what we can do is just write back, and this will go and update back to the GL budget set that it was first read from. So we're going to write back to 2023 to budget set 1. And you may have noticed that I switched the credits from our Excel spreadsheet when it was refreshed in this cube. So I'm going to switch it back when it goes back into the GL. When amending numbers at a total level, for example, if I change the 6 million to 8 million, you need to choose what your spread method is. It could be evenly, in which case it would be divide by 12 and put equal values into those months. Proportionately, it would spread back to the months depending on what the values the months were and made up of the original total. You could be updating minimum values only, maximum values only, or you may be doing an average, a percentage increase, or an absolute increase or decrease. For example, increase by $100. For percentage increase, I could say change this 6 million by 10%, and it will up all those numbers by 10%. Or I could say do an absolute increase and add $500. So you choose the spread method which is appropriate to the kind of update you want to do on a total level. After uploading the budget from the departmental managers into our Sage 300 company, we've seen how we can use Info-Explorer with the Writeback license to view the consolidated budget, to do top-down revisions, and then to upload to the Sage 300 company database again. We're now going to use Info-Explorer with the Budget Writeback to take the first 3 months of 2022's actuals and put that into our budget set 2. And then we're going to take April through to December from our 2023 budget and put that also into our budget set 2. So we take creating like a bottom-up budget of budget set 2 based on the first 3 months of actuals and the remaining 9 months of budget. We're then going to manipulate that with, we're going to view the consolidated budget, and we're going to do some top-down revisions, and finally create budget set 2 in the Sage 300 company database. Back in Info-Explorer, we're going to create a new work set, and we're going to call this one Budget 2. And using our summary view, what we're going to do is to set our 2023 budget set 2 based on the first 3 months of our 2022 actual and then the remaining 9 months of our 2023 budget. So to do this, we first need to set the fiscal periods. So for our actuals, we're going to select only January, February, March. So this 3 million is for the first quarter of 2022. And these are the figures that we're going to copy into budget 2. So I can, in my budget set 2, key in this 3 million and tell it to spread it proportionately to the underlying figures. But this time the spread is, although it's proportional, it's not based on the 2023 year, it's based on the 2022 year, and it's not based on my version budget, it's based on my version actual. So before I change that number, I need to say, when I change my 2023 budget, spread it proportionately against my 2022 actual. So A is my fiscal designator, and in my version dimension, I need to choose actual. So I'm going to spread this budget number to budget set 2, but using 2022's fiscal year and actuals. So now if I key in this 3,123,558.84, it spread those numbers based on the actuals for the first 3 months of the year. So now I'm going to change my fiscal period. So instead of looking at the first 3 months, I'm going to be looking at the last 9 months. And now I want to spread budget 1, this 13 million, into budget 2. So again, I need to change my proportional spread method. I can match the fiscal year because it's both 2023, but I mustn't match the version. I must use budget 1 and the fiscal designator of 1. And now I can go ahead and key in my 13 million. So for the last 9 months, it's 13 million. But if I go back to my fiscal period now and select the whole year, I should get the January figures, January, February, and March figures, giving me a total of 16 million now. And again, I can save this cube, send it to somebody else, and ask them to review our budget 2. If everyone's happy with it, and if I have the right permissions, I can now write that back. So again, I'm telling it to go back to our GL 2023 and to write to budget set 2. Yes, and I'm going to switch my credits and debits. So it's updated through to the GL. And now if I go into GL, into my account maintenance, budget maintenance, and if I look at our account 4000-1, and this time we're going to look at budget set 2 for 2023. And these are the numbers that we've just uploaded from the Info-Explorer Cube. We've just seen the example of setting budget set 2 equal to the first 3 months of actuals from 2022 plus the last 9 months of budget from 2023. And we could have manipulated those figures a little further and then updated through to the GL budget sets. In the Spotlight On, we've seen how we can use optional tables to create info sets. In our case, it was linked to the general ledger account, but your info sets could be linked to customer and item, could be linked to vendors for vendor budgets, for customer item budgets, could be linked to locations for location budgets. And you can capture then the budget for those particular master files and use the Excel add-in to update from Excel. Also, in conjunction with Info-Explorer, you can do top-down revisions or bottom-up revisions based on the information that's in your cube, and then you can update back to the info set, or if you are doing GL budgets, you can update back to the GL budget set as well. Please go to our website for more information on optional tables in Info-Explorer and other spotlights on for other types of budgeting you can do using these modules.